heard of the Venus Project? Well, if you haven't, you should stay tuned and let me plant a seed that will show you a way out of this mess that we're in. Stay tuned. Okay, Earth Tribe. Rick Boiardi, World Builder, back at you with what I hope is a seed that I'm gonna plant that will sprout within all the members of the Earth Tribe, because we need to hear this and we need to change our way of life. Now, what I'm talking about is a thing called the Venus Project, like the planet Venus, although it's actually referring to the headquarters of the project, which is Venus, Florida. I've been there. It's an amazing place. Okay. What's happening? We're all following the news. We're all starting to experience possible outcomes that are scary. I mean, I just went to the supermarket and 80% of the food items completely gone. Now, that's just day one. 24 hours into this, people are still polite, but you can see it on their faces. There's a real look of concern and fear and shock behind the way everybody's acting towards each other. Let's hope that all of the different factors that play into this COVID-19 situation on a global basis can get it together and find a way forward with this thing. And the thing is, it's global. So, if the US, where I'm from, has an infrastructure that can handle 20% infection rate, which I've heard is the max that they can handle, well, Mexico's right next door. They can't handle it. And, I've read enough books and lived enough experiences to know that if people are desperate, they're gonna bum rush the next country, and for good reason. They're looking for help. It's instinctual. People want to live. All of these things. Okay, the Venus Project. Why am I talking about this in the midst of all of that? It's because there's never been a better time for me to say this again and plant this seed that we are at the end stages of predatory capitalism. There is no doubt that this cannot continue, okay? There's millions of sources that you can read up, do research, and realize we are here where we are, and it's time for a change, okay? So, you think of it this way. There are resources in the world, okay? There's physical resources, there's human resources, there's energy, there's intellectual resources. All these things combine in this system to do a couple of things. Pay debt, which is what is the powerhouse of everything that moves in the economy, and to generate profit, okay? We know this. Whatever name you've given to your style of government, ultimately that's what happens, okay? So people need to realize that the people that run this thing, okay, they don't have your best interest in mind, and they've got to keep this thing going. They've got their own agenda. A small percentage of the world owns 80% of the world's wealth, okay? Let that sink in. Do these people care for the bulk of humanity other than as a resource to keep the gravy train going? There's so many directions I can go in this talk, but I'm gonna keep it short. The thing is, go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I do videos on personal development. That's so you and me and the rest of us on a micro level can improve and bring out the gifts that we have. We all have amazing gifts, and we can improve our world, okay? That's to get all of us going in the right direction. But I also do a lot of videos on global transformation, and that's the macro part of it. That's the result of all of our efforts pushing forward as creative geniuses coming up with something better, okay? We need something better than this. Now, I live in the United States, okay? Other than the elites, I'm by virtue of birth and actually ending up living in this country, leaving it and then coming back when I was a young kid, I live at the top of the food chain, okay? So, material goods are everywhere. There's a lot of opportunity to create wealth, to express your gifts, and work within the system to do well. And even if you're just the average everyday person, the material comforts are, at an all-time high for the history of the world and the entire history of the human population. Okay, Western, I'm coming from that perspective, but I've traveled enough, lived enough places, seen enough to know and to be able to see things on a bigger scale, and also see trends, and also analyze human history, looking back, and to project going forward. It's one of the things I do. It's one of the things I was blessed and also cursed with at a very early age. Okay, the Venus Project, what is it? It uses science and technology as a means to demise and create the infrastructure that humankind lives within, okay? So it's not to create a bunch of people who create services and goods for profit or to satisfy debt or both in order to gain power or whatever their personal goals are. Instead, let me back up. And the people that have risen in the past 5,000-6,000 years to the top of that chain have a layer of CEOs and politicians and bankers to carry out what they want. Okay, so that's how it works here. So in the Venus Project, and look it up, thevenusproject.com, Jacques Fresco, who passed away not too long ago, and Roxanne Meadows. I've met them both, amazing people. Okay, so you have a world population of people being in this system, raised from birth, to know that we are all responsible for each other, that our gift on this planet is its resources, and we use the science and technology and managers, like asset managers, to demise the different services that we need to live as human beings. So they come up with the programs and everybody votes on it. And with today's technology, you can get input from everybody. And I'm giving you very, very broad statements here because I'm keeping this under 15 minutes so I can upload it. But you're welcome to watch my other videos. I get deeper into it. You're welcome to reach out to me, okay? So it's a different mindset, and as you know, I coach in mindset. So with this in mind, people are raised to find, respect their gift, and to utilize it to raise up mankind. And then there are people who organize it into programs which everybody looks at and decides on what to use, because it's all based on the resources that we have, the carrying capacity of the land mass that we're on, including oceans and lakes. So now I know people have a million questions on this, and they'll have a bunch of defensive comments. But there are books you can read on the Venus Project. You can download them. It explains everything, how this thing will work. So look, if we keep pursuing profit, if we keep pushing the human tribe into all areas of the earth in search of profit, we're changing the climate, we're upsetting the balance of this gift of nature, and there are illnesses, there are COVID-19 viruses, there are other viruses to come, Ebola in the past, things like that, avian flus. They're not going to go away. The system we've devised right now is a hair's breadth away from disaster all of the time. The nuclear clock is a minute away from midnight. The food and supply chains are all designed on profit. You know, you grow something here, you ship it off to a foreign country to manufacture it, you package it, you send it back here. There's all these inefficiencies, all these corruptions of human values in order to maintain the end stages of this system. With a resource-based economy, take the United States for instance. We have the technology to evaluate every single resource that we have, the carrying capacity of this entire country and land and water, and we have complete understanding of production means and methods, distribution. If you go to the Venus Project site, you'll see how they design cities, where people live, where people are educated, where they're entertained, where nature is, where food is grown. It all makes sense. You're not shipping stuff all over the world and it ends up 5 miles away from where it started. It's really planned for the benefit of mankind, or the benefit of those people in the population. Now, a couple things I'll qualify this with. In today's world, countries compete in the resource-based economy world. If another country doesn't have something that say we do, we don't charge them a higher price because of supply and demand and sell it to them, or extract their other resources viciously in order for them to have what we have. We give it to them. We give them the technology and the training in order to do it, and we raise both countries up, okay? A lot of people will say this is like dreamland, utopia, this, that, and the other thing. What it is it's common sense. It's how a tribe survives, and we are a tribe. Don't think that we're not. Look what happened in China. It's everywhere now, and that's even if you believe it started in China, which I don't, by the way. But that's another video, okay? So this topic can go off in so many different directions in terms of education, defense, food and agriculture, technology, medicine, health, human relations, travel, travel infrastructure, psychology, sociology. But if you take away the driving force of creating debt and then running faster than the debt in order to profit from it, instead you create a world where people are a true tribe and they raise through technology and understanding in a common mission. They raise the level of living each generation. All you need is one generation to go through this, and they will understand the benefits of it. But I am going to run out of time. I'll come back to you with another video on this. Peace and love. Let's get through this.